mula sa Asian Community Development Council. Ito ang FILAM in Focus. Mondays at 12 noon, right here on PHLV Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to FILAM in Focus, a program by the Asian Community Development Council, or ACDC, where we dive into critical issues, challenges, successes, and opportunities affecting Filipino Americans. Ako po ang inyong host, Edelweiss Solano. As we approach the new year, in a few hours, we're taking a moment to reflect and pause on a year of impact, growth, and resilience. So today, I am honored to be joined by my boss, Vida Lin, the founder and guiding force behind the Asian Community Development Council. She has been instrumental in driving change and creating meaningful connections within our Filipino community, as well as the broader Asian American Pacific Islander community here in Las Vegas. So, and also in the whole Nevada. And again, welcome, Vida.
Well, thank you for having me. And you know, it's an honor to be here today to talk to the audience, to talk about the Asian Community Development Council, ACDC for short. Mm-hmm. And thank you, Vice. I don't think everybody knows how important she is. She's now our director. We would not be here today if it wasn't for other Vice running all the programs, and she does such a great job. So I also want to make sure I let all the listeners know how good you are.
Oh, thank you so much, Vida. Thank you very much for that. And I know we've been together on the other side of the mic, so it's my first time actually interviewing you about ACDC and the impact that this organization has done for our community. So today we will explore together the strides we've made and the challenges we've faced and the vision for the future of Filipino Americans and the broader Asian community. And since its founding in 2015, ACDC has worked tirelessly to uplift the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander community in Nevada through programs that promote healthcare access, citizenship, voter education, voter engagements, and food assistance, and much more. And over the years, this organization has become a vital resource connecting individuals to essential services, advocating for systematic change, and amplifying the voices of our community. So let's dive into it, Vida. So, as a founder of ACDC, your leadership has been very instrumental in shaping the organization. Vision and direction. So how has your vision evolved over the years?
So we started the Asian Community Development Council in 2015. Mm-hmm. So we're going on our 10th year anniversary next year. I can't believe we've only been around for 9 years. Mm-hmm. And the vision always was to be a community center to help our AANHPI community. Mm-hmm. And it has evolved. You know, the things that we wanted to do originally was to make sure we do more advocacy work, make sure we educate, connect, and empower our community. And the most important thing is to make sure that we educate how important for them to vote and how their voices is very important. And after that, we noticed that when I used to go to the back of the house of the casinos and met with some of the people to register and to vote, we noticed many of them were permanent resident but never became citizen. So we decided to say, well, in the future, we have to do something about that, right? And now we have a robust citizenship program. Thanks to your leadership and so forth. We have helped more than 1,200, almost 1,300 people to apply for citizenship. And that's something that I envision that, you know, that's one way we can help. Registering, making sure they become citizen. If they are citizen, to make sure they're registered to vote and go to the poll to make sure our voices are heard. And that was the most important thing. Being in Nevada for over 30 years, we didn't have a voice. And throughout that process, we noticed that not only do we have to make sure our community has a voice, but also make sure we have services for them. So the many things we did was Health Navigator to make sure we have them process the health insurance, which is very complicating, and especially for our community, language issues, culture. There's so many things that we need to kind of figure out. So when I envisioned, I didn't think I wanted to in the future to make sure we have all type of service. But one of them was the medical center, which is started in 2022 to make sure our community have someone that can help them with health services.
And with the Happy Medical Center, you serve all of those who are underinsured and, of course, underrepresented. And basically, in your organization, you advocate for visibility and then representation of our AANHPI community.
Right. We know that in the medical industry, 81% of our community are either uninsured and underinsured. And you think about it, they're full-time employee. I mean, there might be a full-time employee for a small business, or they might be part-time, and they don't have health insurance. So this is why we were opening the Happy Medical, the Healthy Asian and Pacific Islander Medical Center to make sure that they have services for them.
So it's improving access to healthcare, not just with providing community-driven initiatives like voter engagement and other things. It's really empowering our community in access to those resources and having a voice in policies, because that affects on the funding on all of those, like education, immigration, and so on.
And then during the pandemic in 2020, we started the food distribution. And when food were donated to us before, it was donation of milk and cheese and chicken, but not what our community wants. So in 2020, late 2020, we actually started food distribution that's culturally sensitive to our community. So we make sure you get your rice, because rice is life, right, when they say. And all the other sauces that you might need, and chicken and fish and vegetables that we like, So that was important to do that. And we've grown, and had no idea 9 years ago that we have grown these services and make sure we're there for our community.
Yes, and since being involved in 2018, I mean, it's amazing the things that has ACDC and the rest of the team has accomplished. I mean, it's now actively not just providing services, but now actively leading the change for and advocating for a systematic transformation in our community. And looking back, Vida, on 2024, it's been a remarkable year. What are you most proud of, the achievement that the rest of the team has achieved this year?
In 2024, we did so much in 2024. I can't believe it. Like toward the end, when I mentioned about all the service that we did, they're like, did we know what happened this year, right? But one of them I really, I think really made me very happy and proud that we brought 50 leaders from Nevada, business owners, leaders, president of different Asian organizations, because we helped uplift them at the same time. We brought them to Washington, D.C. to make sure that they understood the electoral process, to go to the Capitol, to go to the White House. Well, we didn't get to the White House, but we did go to the bowling alley in the White House, which we didn't know there was a bowling alley. I'm sure you don't know that, but we did have, but actually educating, taking up and meeting with some of our elected officials in person, with Senator Jackie Rose and with Senator Cortez Master. All of them were there to meet us in person to talk about and educate our community. There's more than just voting, but actually getting involved. And hopefully we'll teach some of these people to run for office. And I know we have one that's true and dear to me, Yui Rin, that's now assembly person and got reelected, so we're very happy. But more of us should run for office and be in office to represent us.
Yeah, I remember like what he said last Saturday. There shouldn't be not just one person representing our community, but there should be more and more of us coming into representing our community and having that voter participation and also political participation.
Yeah, because they can make a difference in advocating for our community and language, which is the most important thing in some of these programs, right? In some of the paperwork and so forth. So that's really important. So having our elected official, not only Yui Win, Erica Maska, and many other, I'm going to forget some of the names, but we have 7 that's out there now. So they actually have an Asian caucus there. So it's great to see, but we need more.
Yes.
Yeah, we need more.
And it not only will reflects the achievements of ACDC, but the growing influence of the organization and commitment to be a trusted resource in our community, not just for services, but a leader in the social and political change for the AANHPI community. So it's really been a crucial milestone for ACDC, the ongoing journey to become more inclusive, just, and having an equitable community for everyone. And this year, Vida, you mentioned we've done a lot for the community, and one of the three of it was the exciting night market. So one at the Vice President's residence, another at the F1 paddock for the Super Bowl, and one at College of Southern Nevada, which recently happened in October. So how does these events align with the mission of ACDC, and how does it showcase its vision?
So in 2018, when we did the first Asian night market at the parking lot of the St. Rose Hospital. And the point of the Asian night market is like, how do we gather our community together? We're in Nevada, where it's a 24-hour town. We don't all read the newspaper at the same time, watch or listen to the radio at the same time. But how do we reach our community? And the best way to get our community together is food. And we feature only local vendors, local Asian vendors that's from Nevada. Nothing against California, but we really want our Nevada people to be at the night market. And we gather all the vendors at the night market. We have events with all the local performances, right? And the lion dance, the taiko drums, and the Filipino dancer. Having them perform, but also have a platform for us to talk about what's important. We talked about how important to fill out the census and how that brings money to our state. How we talked about how important to vote and to register to vote and get our community out there, right? So that is what the night market is about. So when we're on the Super Bowl host committee, which I'm still surprised that we had a Super Bowl in Nevada. So everybody think about, wow. So when we're thinking about, we should have the night market, the Asian night market, because the Asian is about 13%, over 13% in population, close to 400,000 in the state of Nevada, according to the 2010 census, right? So it was important for us to, actually according to the 2020 census, right? So it's important for us to make sure that our community representative, so when they had this day for the media to come, they wanted to talk about old Las Vegas, new Las Vegas, and because it was at Formula One, they wanted to have the cars too, right? But we were featured as an Asian night market because our community is so big and growing so much, right? So we had it, but I can tell you, it was very challenging, not only because we talked about a very short time, but to raise the money to do the night market. And then having the rain for 2 weeks, like we never had this crazy rain before. This is a desert, right? So we had to feature, how do I handle that? But we made it. But what the biggest reason why we did the night market at the Super Bowl was every year, Super Bowl and the Lunar New Year falls the same time. So we want to make sure that Nevada, if we can do it, when you go to other state, they should have it too. So we're there for them. If they have it at New Orleans, we're here to help them. What do you need to do? Let's have the Super Bowl and make it a tradition to have it, our Asian to be represented every time. And then in May, being Asian Heritage Month, the Vice President reached out to us and say, I want to do a night market, and can you, because we know you have done some, come to Washington, D.C. to the Vice President residency? Of course. So we brought 3 vendors with us and invited a lot of leaders to go to Washington, D.C. to do the celebration of the night market. And of course, it rained a couple days before, so we wasn't sure if it was going to be rained out. But last minute, they decided to have it. So it was perfect weather. We set up, we had the night market, and as soon as the Vice President Cameron Harris cut this ribbon to start, the rain came. So blessed us at the same time. And everybody stayed and had a great time. But that is, I guess, a story that we can talk about forever. And the team, you all did an amazing job making this happen.
Yes, it was amazing to see all of those happen in just 1 year. So ACDC does really is committed to fostering and uplifting the AANHPI community and fostering that connection, cultural pride, and also empowering the like what you said, the entrepreneurs, the small business owners in making sure we uplift them and in terms of economic empowerment. So that's really great to.
And then I want to make sure that everyone knows that every year we have an Asian night market in October. Usually the second week. This year we did the third week because it's also first day of early voting, and so we want to capture that. So we had a great time having people come. We had buses in the back to take them to Chinatown to vote and come back. But get out the vote is also very important. You know, it's one thing for us to register people, but we got to make sure they go to the poll. So that was a very fun time in October, and the weather was actually okay except for the wind.
Yes.
But we made it, and we did have a successful event.
Yes, and it's not just the night market really is a gathering space, not just only food, performances. We had the one APIA to have, our community get out to vote, but also resources. Happy Medical Center was there to provide vaccine, COVID and flu. Our ACDC was there to ensure that our community knows about the resources that are available for you to get. So it's really not just supporting local businesses like Vida said, but celebrating our shared cultural values. So speaking of the Get Out to Vote, ACDC launched that program, and why do you think voter participation is really important, especially in our community, and how does this initiative help the AANHPI community?
Sure. So we do a Get Out to Vote every even year. It's really important for our community to know. I know that people talk about, it's this year to vote, but actually promoting the come, right? So we do all type of program to make sure they remember early voting, get out to vote. So we have things like when my team came to me and said, hey, we want to do, get the people out to vote. We want to do boba tea. And I said, okay, boba tea and bento boxes, that sounds great. And we want to do puppies. I said, okay, I get everything else, but puppies? Because everybody loves puppies. So let's bring your puppy and go vote. So we did that. Then Eric and his team would come up to me and say, we want to do, you know how baby goats are very popular now in yoga and everything else? And I said, okay, why don't we do baby goats for your vote? So we had an event. He brought the baby goats and people can come and think, but we make it fun. It's one thing when we tell them like, it's your duty to vote. Nobody really wants to be told what to do. But when we tell them, it's like, we need your voices. Your voices need to be heard. And I can tell you 30 years ago when I moved to Las Vegas, when I went to elected officials to get help and support, one of the things they said to me is that Asian doesn't vote, so we can't help you. So it took me a while. But now, our community, we have registered over 44,000 people so far. We are also a margin of victory at many cases, especially in 2020 election. So our voices need to be heard. We need to make sure that we are there to participate. And we also hold the county elected official accountable. And they come out to the community. They reach out to the community. And they're there for us. So we want to make sure that is how the system's supposed to work. So really, I can't stress more. There's two things. We need to make sure. We need to fill out the census that comes every 10 years. And every 5 years or in between, they have the American Survey, which is part of the census, to have a breakdown of our community so we know how much money we need to bring to the state of Nevada. And to make sure that you register to vote and go out and vote. It is fun. We need your voices. And it's great because we bring families and friends together. And this is a way to say, let's mobilize our community.
Yes, and to add on, and by engaging the voting process, we ensure that the most important issues in our community, such as language access, economic inequality, civil rights, are prioritized, and we hold our politicians accountable. And by voting, it is also we are increasing our representation.
Yes,
like what Vida said, we have an AANHPI caucus now, so that's great to. What we need to understand. So the more we engage, the more we have elected officials that understand the AANHPI concerns. So voter education and having that awareness about the importance of it. So Vida, looking ahead, what are the goals for ACDC in the coming year?
So one of the goals that I'm thinking about is we need more education, especially next year where there's so many changes, right? We need to know what is, and make sure we, if there's disinformation, make sure that we correct them and say, we are the trusted voices. What we're telling you is what is happening. So one of the things that we want to educate is we want to make sure that we have the college readiness boot camp that we've been doing even before ACDC was around. We always put together a college readiness boot camp. But we noticed after the 2020 pandemic, the people that is applying for college has lessened, right? Because of whatever situation, many reasons. So we're thinking about this year, next year actually, which is around the corner, which very close. We're thinking about doing more educational and more about vocational education. And if people want to go into the trade, like plumbers and engineers, electricians and other services, also we're talking about maybe in the future, talk about the film industry, right? People want to go into that field. So we're thinking about doing that type of education on that. Education about what is happening, what's a new law, and what's a new system. Advocating to make sure that our community is protected and heard. So there's many things to do in 2025, and I know that we will be there for our community, that we will be there and think of how we can support and help our community as much as possible.
Yeah, so that's great. Exciting times, Vida. So aside from education, and also I would agree. Also think that expanding services will also be continuing for ACDC and also the community outreach, and continue to build partnerships, because that's very important in making sure that we have our services and programs available to our community. And we will be celebrating the 10th year anniversary next year as well, and to honor the incredible journey that ACDC has done in the since its founding in 2015. So I'm sure there will be a community celebration.
Yes, there will be many.
Yeah, okay. With a lot of leaders and partners participating in that celebration. So Vida, as we wrap up today's episode, before we end, is there anything, what message would you like to share with our viewers?
Sure. The message is, this is having the Asian Community Development Council, ACDC, was something that our community needed for years. And here we are. We need everyone's help. We need our community to come to us and ask us what we can do to help them. If it's the Filipino Association, NAFA, to the Chinese Association, the Thai community, the Vietnamese community, our community is growing so much. We need to know what service that you need and help. And we want to bridge that gap even more. We've done so in 10 years, but there's more to do. Let's reach out to our fellow other groups and association, and let's see what we can do together and make our community a safer, a better place, and how we can all strive and do better.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Vida, for that message.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And to our viewers, maraming salamat po for listening and watching FILAM in Focus, a program by the Asian Community Development Council. And for more information about ACDC, please visit our website at acdcnv.org and follow us on our social media channels. We have more exciting episodes coming next year. So, subaybayan niyo po kami ulit at have a safe and blessed New Year. Manigong bagong taon po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat.